What's your name? Kristen.
You can't get them to tell you anything. Sometimes they take people away, they don't come back.
There's a ghost in here.
I'm not crazy. She was one of us, but she's gone now.
We have to get out of here. Get her in a straitjacket.
It is 1966. A dark, scary mood hangs over Northbend Psychiatric Hospital. On a stormy night, footsteps echo down a hallway and stop at a door labeled Tammy. Inside the room, a woman named Tammy is terrified by something outside her door. The creature enters, attacks her, and kills her. The next day, police chase a missing woman named Kristen, who is hiding in the woods. She escapes and reaches an abandoned farmhouse. For unknown reasons, she sets the house on fire and watches it burn. The police arrive and arrest her. Instead of jail, Kristen is sent to Northbend Psychiatric Hospital, the same place seen earlier. A nurse named Roy brings her inside and leads her to a locked ward where she will stay. Nurse Lunt takes her to a room while the other patients stare at her. Kristen is placed in Tammy's old room. The nurse removes Tammy's name from the door and replaces it with Kristen. She locks Kristen in for the night. As Kristen lies in bed, she briefly remembers a young girl chained in a dark room, but the memory fades as she falls asleep. Later that night, her blanket is pulled off the bed by something unseen. When she wakes up looking for it, she notices beads with letters on them but doesn't understand their meaning. In the morning, Dr. Stringer and Nurse Lunt wake her. Kristen tells them about the strange events, but they dismiss her story and say the door was locked. Nurse Lunt gives her pills, but Kristen throws them away and crushes them. When Kristen steps into the ward, all the patients stare at her. Zoe acts like a small child. Emily approaches Kristen and asks if she is there to save them. Iris tells Emily to stop frightening her. Then Sarah appears, quickly showing she is the mean one in the group. Later, the therapist calls Kristen into his office. She demands to know why she is being held there. Dr. Stringer avoids the question and instead asks about her memories. Kristen can only remember the farmhouse fire. She shows him writing on her palm with the farmhouse address, but she doesn't know how it got there or why she burned the house. Upset and overwhelmed, she points to a one-way mirror and realizes a camera is watching them. When it's time for her medication, Roy stays to make sure she takes it. As soon as he leaves, Kristen uses a tool she stole from Dr. Stringer's desk to pick the lock and escape her room. She runs to the main exit, but Roy catches her and drags her back to her room. That night, the weather turns violent again. Heavy footsteps echo outside the hospital. A badly disfigured woman appears at Kristen's door and stares at her through the window before disappearing. The next day, Iris asks Kristen if she can draw her. Kristen agrees, while Dr. Stringer and some staff secretly watch them. Kristen asks who they are, and the girls say they are the sad people who are always watching. Kristen tells the group about the woman she saw the night before. The others neither confirm nor deny her story. Later, the girls dance together to music, even Zoe joining in. Suddenly, the power flickers because of the storm. During the blackout, the ghostly woman appears again, terrifying them. When the lights come back on, the figure vanishes. The girls feel relieved, not realizing this is only the beginning. Later, while Kristen is taking a bath, the ghost appears and attacks her, nearly choking her. Nurse Lunt rushes in but assumes Kristen is hallucinating. Kristen insists the creature was real and not human, but the nurse doesn't believe her. She injects Kristen with a sedative. When Kristen wakes up, she finds herself tied down in an operating room. Dr. Stringer arrives and puts a device in Kristen's mouth, saying the medication is not working as expected. He orders electroconvulsive therapy to calm her down. After the treatment, she becomes quiet and is taken back to her room for the night. The next morning, all the girls meet with Dr. Stringer. Emily, with a wide grin, asks what they did to Kristen. Dr. Stringer casually says it was an unscheduled treatment. Emily is reminded of Tammy, who disappeared and never returned. Kristen asks who Tammy is, and Iris explains that Tammy was the last girl to leave the ward. Dr. Stringer quickly ends the discussion. After the session, Emily tries to comfort Kristen. Later, Iris happily announces that this will be her final session with Dr. Stringer. She believes she is cured, even though Dr. Stringer never says she is being released. During Iris's session, Dr. Stringer reviews her drawings and praises her progress. He stops when he sees a drawing of a dark figure. It becomes clear that all the patients may have seen the same figure. After a moment, Dr. Stringer decides to run more tests to make sure Iris is fully cured. He uses a metronome to hypnotize her and asks her to remember something from 10 years ago. Later, Dr. Stringer tells the nurse that Iris is resting in his office. But when the nurse checks, Iris is gone. At the same time, Iris is shown chained to a wheelchair being pushed down the alley. When she looks up to see who is pushing her, she screams in terror. The creature takes her into a room and kills her by stabbing her in the eye. Back in the ward, Kristen becomes suspicious when Iris never returns. She asks Nurse Lunt where Iris is, but the nurse ignores her and orders everyone to sleep. The next morning at breakfast, Kristen knows something is wrong and asks about Iris again, but no one gives her answers. When Kristen returns to her room, she finds Iris's sketchbook left behind. She knows Iris would have taken it if she had really been released. Looking through the sketchbook, Kristen finds a drawing of a girl named Alice. On the next page, she sees the dark figure again, labeled with the name Alice Hudson. Kristen suddenly remembers the beads she found earlier in her room. When she rearranges them, they spell the name Alice, suggesting Alice was once a patient there. Kristen confronts Dr. Stringer and demands to know what is really happening in the hospital. He dismisses her and says she must figure it out herself. Kristen then questions the other girls about Alice. They avoid answering and look guilty. Emily is clearly scared and finally says Alice was a patient who was discharged, but her body language shows she is lying. Kristen tells them the only way to survive is to escape. If they stay, they will be killed one by one. Emily agrees to help her, while Sarah and Zoe refuse. That night, she meets up with Emily, and together they sneak through the hospital, searching for Iris and a way out. They avoid the staff as they move through the dark halls. When they reach the morgue, they hear someone coming and hide. After a while, Kristen steps out, but Emily is gone. Kristen hears banging from one of the morgue drawers. Thinking Emily is trapped inside, she opens it. Instead, a ghostly hand reaches out and terrifies her. She runs upstairs in panic. Near the front door, Kristen hears someone calling the name Alice. She turns and sees the ghost again. She collapses, and the last person she sees is Roy. The next morning, Kristen wakes up in her room with a severe headache. She joins the others, still trying to understand what happened. Sarah asks Kristen what happened the night before. Kristen says they couldn't find Iris. Sarah blames Emily for the failure. Later, Sarah walks away holding a small mirror. She suddenly sees the ghost behind her. When she looks toward the door, Alice grabs her from behind. They appear in the surgery room. Sarah recognizes the ghost and calls her Alice by name. She begs Alice not to hurt her and says the torture was not her idea. Alice uses an electroshock device and kills Sarah. The heavy power usage causes the hospital lights to flicker. Kristen realizes what has happened and calls out for Sarah, but gets no response. Zoe drops to her knees and starts crying. Kristen then notices that Zoe's toy has Alice's initials on it. Zoe finally tells the truth. She explains that Sarah and the other girls hurt Alice in the past. Alice was cruel to them and often abused them. Tammy came up with a plan to stop her. Zoe lured Alice into Tammy's room, where the others were waiting. Together, they attacked and killed Alice. Now Alice has returned to take revenge. Kristen wonders why Alice keeps attacking her, since she was not involved in Alice's death. Emily suddenly panics and runs away. Kristen and Zoe chase after her. Emily plans to kill herself before Alice can reach her, despite Kristen begging her not to. Before anything happens, Alice appears and kills Emily instead. Terrified, Kristen and Zoe decide they must escape immediately. Kristen pretends to hold Zoe hostage so they can pass the staff without suspicion. Their plan fails when they reach the elevator. Kristen tries to escape by biting her captor, but Dr. Stringer stops her. Nurse Lunt sedates her. Later, Kristen wakes up in her room wearing a straitjacket. She struggles and eventually frees herself. When Nurse Lunt checks on her, Kristen knocks her out. She also knocks out Roy. Kristen escapes with Zoe and runs toward the main exit. They flee from the staff and reach a dumbwaiter that leads upward. Because it can only carry one person, Zoe goes first. Tragically, Alice is waiting above and kills Zoe. The dumbwaiter comes back down, and Kristen rides it up. At the top, Kristen sees that Zoe is gone. She follows a trail of blood down the hallway. Alice appears and attacks her. Alice is incredibly strong and throws Kristen around. Just before she is overwhelmed, Kristen grabs a fire axe and strikes Alice, badly injuring her. Kristen escapes and runs into Dr. Stringer's office. There she finds Alice's file, which lists all the girls' names, including her own. Dr. Stringer enters the room. Kristen confronts him and demands the full truth. Dr. Stringer reveals a shocking truth. Her real name is Alice. Kristen is confused and cannot understand what he means. The doctor explains that Kristen is only one of Alice's many personalities. When Alice was 11 years old, she was kidnapped and chained in the basement of the same farmhouse she later burned down. She was trapped there for 2 months. To survive the trauma, Alice developed multiple personalities. Each girl in the ward represents a different part of her mind. Over time, these personalities became unstable and took control, eventually killing Alice's original personality. The hospital worked on her for 7 years and nearly cured her. But then a new personality appeared, Kristen. Kristen was created as a protector, meant to shield the others from painful memories. In the end, Dr. Stringer allowed all the personalities to be destroyed, just as he planned. Kristen is meant to be the last one. Dr. Stringer uses hypnosis to force Kristen to remember her past. This causes the ghost-like Alice to return and fight for control. Alice grabs Kristen and jumps out the window. Alice finally regains full control of her mind and becomes whole again. Later, the sad people, seen watching earlier, are revealed to be Alice's parents. Dr. Stringer asks if she remembers what happened to her. Alice says she does, and that she no longer needs to run from her trauma. At the end, Alice packs her things and prepares to leave the hospital. But when she opens the medicine cabinet above the sink, Kristen suddenly jumps out at her.
And that's the end of the story. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what movies do you like us to recap next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.